Princess and the Frog. When they do a live action for that, I think the better fit for that is to make her white, and that would be a better race swap.
Dang.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, if you're going to really get the New Orleans soul,
Yeah.
I don't think that belongs to a black woman.
Then black people.
We're talking about someone who gets turned into a frog and interacts with alligators who just want to play jazz. Yeah, that should come out of a white woman. What are we talking about here? Give it to Taylor Swift.
Ooh, that would be
Taylor Swift. Welcome back to the Wacky Wonderful Wiseworks podcast. We are late. Are we late? When are we uploading this?
Yeah, we're late. We're a whole week late.
Yeah, we've got life stuff happening. So
yeah, freaking life just decided to kick me in particular down in the butt. I don't know how you guys feel.
All at once too.
Yep.
Yeah, the past 2 weeks. A bit of sludge fest.
Go to the doctor. You know, go out of town. This, that,
Get
and the other
sick.
thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, and a death in the family and all kinds of stuff, man. And then Wise just like, so we recording? And Joshua and I are like, freaking no, we can't. I don't feel like it.
No, I don't think I ever asked if we were recording.
To be fair, that I just said that for the giggles.
Yeah.
Joshua was the one that kept calling me and being like, are we recording? And
I figured once, Josh told me the Saturday, he was like, we're not recording. I was like, yeah, I figured.
I figured.
And then Monday he was like, I'm not going to be here till 8:30. And I was like, all right. So
to be fair, Joshua left it in my hands. Joshua left it in my hands to see if I wanted to do the live.
Yeah.
And then when I got off the phone with him, I was like, now I apologize if I cough occasionally. I'm still getting over whatever it is I had got last Wednesday. But this past Monday, I couldn't talk at all. So I was like, not only do I not want to do the live, but also I can't talk very well. So podcasting when you can't talk is not the best.
Yeah.
But, sorry, we're here.
Well, yeah, I was driving back from South Carolina and I called Joseph and said, are you guys going to do a live tonight? I'm going to be driving. I can't be involved. If you guys do a live, you guys can do one if you want. I don't know.
Right.
You guys opted out of it.
Yeah.
We had to take a week.
When I talked to Joe on the phone, I don't know if that was Sunday or Monday. He was like, yeah, I'm going to Walmart.
Yeah, it hasn't been a pleasant. It's been hard to communicate for like a week. And I think I had the same thing you had a little bit ago, Wyatt. Yes. But for some reason, mine's holding on.
I don't know.
Someone who owes you money, just sticking around.
What medicine have you been taking? Because I think that can affect it.
I have been taking no medicine.
What?
Teas. I've been taking tea.
Well, that's why it's hanging on. You're not taking any medicine.
Well, no, your immune system's the best medicine.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
What are you talking about?
Listen, you have to take like a cough medicine, something for the cough or the mucus, and you have to take an anti-inflammatory like Tylenol or ibuprofen, so that you're fighting the mucus.
Tylenol makes you have internal bleeding.
Yeah, if you take it every day for 30 years, it doesn't have to be Tylenol. It can be ibuprofen, or it can be the other one that's whatever that other one is.
Maybe I should get on medicine.
Aspirin. You can take aspirin.
Okay. Maybe I should get on medicine.
Aspirin is, better for you than the other ones. Take a anti-inflammatory, because it'll fight infections, which is what's going on in your body. You got an infection, and the cough medicine will fight mucus.
I'm having a lot of noise in the background over here, flushing the toilets and stuff. I don't know.
I don't hear
I don't hear anything.
Okay.
No.
I'll get on some medicine, bro.
Look, that's what the doctor told me one time. It was during COVID. I was like, I don't know what I have, and he said, well, you probably have a sinus infection and you've got a cough. And I was like, okay, so what do I do? And he said, anti-inflammatory and cough medicine is gonna basically take care of everything you need to take care of. So go get you that dual Dayquil NyQuil pack.
Is that what those things are?
What?
Cough medicine and anti-inflammatories?
Well, you can get like the Dayquil NyQuil pack. That's going to be your cough medicine.
I've never consumed a Dayquil or NyQuil.
Then it's going to work. It's going to work wonders on you.
Because I have no tolerance.
Because you have no tolerance. I don't take medicine for the most part, so that when I do take it, it's more effective.
I take pride in showing up to the doctors for procedures and looking and feeling all sick, and they say, "Are you on anything?" And I say, "Not a thing."
Not a thing. They're like, "How long you been sick?" You're like, 23 days. And they're like, "Yeah, that's because you haven't taken anything."
I'm not taking anything, doc. I'm 100% clear of any of this poison. Yeah, I take pride in that. I like to say I'm on nothing.
That's good, but
that's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
You gotta you gotta take care of yourself, and to do that, you've got to take medicine, man.
Now, let me ask you this, and this sounds like a stupid thing to say, but do you think we overemphasize self-love and self-care in today's culture?
Yes.
I feel like the answer to everyone's problem these days is you just gotta learn to love yourself before you can love anybody else. That's not my experience. My experience is like I can love people very easily.
I think it's more for women, because women have a hard time with, especially
body
harder than guys.
Love,
body image. It's confidence is what it is. They have a lot of issues with self-confidence, and I think that turns into what's the word?
Deprecation.
That's it. There it is.
Now, but how come that? Why would that affect the way you can love or care for somebody else? Just how you feel about yourself.
If you're not treating yourself right, then you're not going to treat other people right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think that's false.
You think that's false?
I think that's a lie from hell.
Okay. All right. From the pit.
Yeah. I think that's an excuse to not love people, because there's a lot of people that don't like themselves. And I'm sorry if for some people, if you're waiting on, treating and loving and caring for other people, if you're waiting on, doing that for yourself before you get to somebody else, it's never going to happen. You know what I mean?
True.
I think it's a lie. I think self-love and self-care to get to loving and caring for other people is a lie. I think it's a group think. And so everyone would look at me and say, I'm freaking crazy. Even people, professionals, even my own wife would look at me and say, oh, you're crazy. But I'm saying this.
Well,
I think everyone's just taken by the concept. You know what I'm saying?
We have to look at the real question here, though.
I think it goes all the way back to
right now.
It depends on what you quantify as sick. Sick in the head, Wyatt, 100%.
I'm not wrong. I think it's. I think you're right. I think you can absolutely hate yourself, and love people, and care for people, and be totally kind to other people, but hate who you are.
You got to go back to what the Bible says. The Bible, what does the Bible say? It says, "Love God and love others."
Mm-hmm.
And nowhere is there a commandment that says, "Love yourself."
Yeah.
Never.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think that necessarily means, just because it's not said, I don't think it means to hate yourself. But
I'm not saying it's a commandment to hate yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you're not commanded to love yourself. But I feel like culture puts all the eggs into the love yourself basket.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that start with? I think you're
don't
right.
know.
Probably
Maybe
princesses and women's.
No, I think it came from the Apes, specifically a movie that's coming out soon, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
a terrible transition.
That's at the end of the podcast.
Joshua.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I literally
Yeah, it is.
slides. That's the next slide.
It's at the end of the podcast.
All right. So what?
Dude,
hold on.
I actually did a good segue, and Joshua interrupted me. I said I think it started with Disney princesses and women, right?
Ooh, okay.
And Joshua was like, no, hear me out. Freaking Planet of the Kingdom.
I was trying to get to the segment, and I thought that was our next segment.
Why
did the dwarfs look so fake?
I don't know. This is there's almost no information, and this is the only picture that they put out.
100%.
So fake.
This is to get culturals steaming fingers off of their keyboard. That's what this is about. Right?
Yeah, well, everybody's been like, this is going to be this terrible Snow White movie, and the 7 diverse dwarves that we saw in those pictures.
And then they drop this. There's not a single...
They're like, that's not the case. They're all CG. Everything's animated.
Also, not a single blackface I'm seeing here.
Yeah, what's up? Where's the diversity?
Where's the diversity with the dwarves?
Maybe they did that on purpose. They're like, oh, we can't have
a
person do it, so we're just going to animate them.
Well, clearly to get the look of the dwarves from to get that look with the silly dimensions of the dwarves, you know what I'm saying? That people love about the cartoon. Yeah, you're going to have to animate it. And also, okay, let's do this.
What are we doing?
Is this kind of falling into the let's weigh two different live action movies here, okay? So we have, let's say, Aladdin, where everything's that's the wrong one. Let's do The Lion King. Photorealistic, we lose so much from the emoting of the characters, the lion characters that we got from the cartoon, the 2D version.
Yeah.
And everyone's upset about that. Can that logic be transferred to this and say, okay, this is actually an improvement because that silliness, bubbly kind of vibe that we got from the 2D animation from the original dwarves, we're now going to be able to accomplish with these weird, animated, yes, but clunky looking, not very realistic little creature dwarves here. You know what I mean? That actually do look like, very detailed photorealistic versions of the 2D animation, right?
I mean, if they're wanting facial expression, that's probably.
I mean, how many times are we going to put Dinklage? How many times are we going to put Dinklage in a movie? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I still think there's plenty of plenty of actors with dwarfism who can play in this role. All you need is 7 people. I feel like I could go out and find 7 people.
7 people.
I think you know what I think most people should have is, and I'm noticing this more and more in the YouTube space. For some reason, a lot of YouTubers have like a dwarf friend in their group. Like you know what I'm saying?
Friend. Yeah.
And I'm like, why has that never come across my world? I want a little.
I think it started with what was the show with Bam Margera? Jackass?
Wait, dwarfism.
I think it started with no. Dwarfism didn't start with Jackass. I think Jackass and like during the 90s and early 2000s when like Jackass and Austin Powers were coming out, everybody was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then YouTubers were like, "Man, I need to really diversify my catalog of friends."
No, but it seems like they really do have a friend that's just a little dude, and I would love to have. I don't know, a Marty on my ship. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I'll tell you why. Because a lot of YouTubers live in Hollywood.
There are a lot of dwarves out there?
I mean, everybody's out there. Anybody you can possibly imagine is probably out there. So you're probably going to find a higher a higher population of people who are looking for TV roles and movie roles. And
did you? Okay, let me ask you this: at any point, our entire time living in Virginia Beach, did you ever see?
Yes.
You saw someone in Virginia Beach?
I worked at a public retail store, so I saw hundreds of people every day.
How many did you see?
I don't know.
Okay, you're getting a little too interested, Joe.
How many? Insane question.
How many?
I'm just trying to figure out where the populations. I'm trying to figure out where the population of dwarves are.
To say, how many white people did I see working at Lowe's? I'm not sure. Let me count how many white people I saw.
Well, that's not a fair comparison.
2,
you definitely saw more white people than little people.
That's not a wild thing to ask, though.
No,
I mean, you definitely saw. I mean, you probably saw more white people than paraplegics,
right?
Yes, definitely.
You know,
especially in Lowe's.
No, I'm serious about the Hollywood thing. I think anybody who wants to make a career in entertainment is going out there. So if you're a little person, you want to go make a career in acting or anything out there, there's probably a higher population of them out there.
Yeah.
Compared to just, what, white people, standard American white.
Right.
Was this all you had on this movie, or was there more to it?
Yeah, there was there was almost nothing to this, which was bizarre that they dropped this photo.
No, it's because they're not ignorant to what the internet's been doing.
They're
the past
playing tug of war with
3 weeks
right now.
Well,
3 months.
The entire internet thinks that it's those people in the field.
Yeah, but also I feel like they're playing tug of war with Ben Key right now. Of like, Ben Key's really popular with the Snow White
releasing
news.
Something.
So they have to drop something, even if they are not ready to drop stuff yet. They have to put something out there that will get people back on Disney Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't they push this to 2025?
This movie?
Yeah, I think
I
this
don't know. I
movie's
didn't
been
see
pushed
that.
to 25.
If that was in the news,
I'm pretty sure
hear that.
So we still have well over a year for this movie. This is a really early first look. Now, if they deter from this, I don't even know what to say. I'll have to save my thoughts for later. But as far as what we know right now, this is the look they're going for. Rachel Zegler and her outfit, what do you think?
It looks like Snow White.
She definitely doesn't look like Snow White. Snow White would look a little bit more like your skin tone, Josh. Or Joe's.
Hey, or yours.
Not necessarily mine.
Well, I mean,
but it would be closer to mine. Actually, I don't know. I feel like mine's probably.
You could be cousins with Rachel Zegler.
I feel like I would be closer to her on the Family Guy color scale. You guys have seen that.
Yeah.
It's almost she's almost overshadowed by the weird animation.
Yeah.
Dwarfs.
I mean, I got nothing for you because this is all we've got, and it's like not even super clear.
I got a fun game.
You think you guys can name the dwarves?
I was about to say this exact same thing. Okay, here we go.
Cannot.
So definitely the red in front is Grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
We got Dopey with no facial hair right over Rachel's shoulder.
With the ears.
Okay.
Doc is right behind him.
Doc's behind him. Happy? I think
Happy is probably the one standing
right.
in front at the left.
Yeah.
Think?
Right?
The fatso?
No, to the right.
Is he the one with the red beard, Happy?
I was leaning towards red beard, personally.
Okay.
I didn't know if there was one called Beardy.
No, there's not a Beardy.
Okay, then Sleepy is the one with the sleeping cap.
Yeah.
Dopey's clearly the one in the back, like the younger one.
We called Dopey. So we got 2 more, the fatso in the front and then the guy in the far back.
Yeah.
What are the other 2 dwarfs' names?
The one to the left front in the red is
we already said this.
Angry or what's Grumpy.
Yeah, Grumpy.
Yeah,
We
that's
already
got to
said
be
this.
him. He's in all
Let's see.
red.
All the 7 dwarfs names. Okay.
Bashful.
Ooh.
Bashful.
Oh, the one in the red hat is got to be Bashful, because you remember he's always like playing with his beard and hat and everything, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Bashful was always like messing with his beard and playing with it, and being
you're
like,
right. I think Redbeard
cuddling
is
it, kinda.
Bashville.
Yeah.
Bashful.
Did you say Bashville?
Bashville. I think Redbeard is
like
bashful, and so
Nashville.
maybe Happy. Maybe
I want to say Happy's the one one standing in front with the yellow cap.
Okay, no. No, that's Sneezy.
You think?
I think that's Sneezy.
You think that's okay? I was
Who's
gonna
got the reddest, biggest nose? That guy.
Ooh, you're right.
And then the
right
dude in
there.
the very
That's
back
Joe
is Happy.
standing right there in the front.
Dang. Yeah, I know a sneezer or a red nose when I see one. You know, I'll say I know the Rudolph gang.
Gang.
Oh man, it was Cameron's child fell on the ground and busted her nose. And poor baby had just this big red scraped nose. I was like, it's Joe.
Oh.
It was more funny to me than anybody else, but
yeah, because you were giggling to yourself hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
all right, so Sneezy, and I guess that leaves Happy as the dude in the green hat. Top
I guess
right.
so. Yeah, it has to be. Happy's got to be back there.
I mean, everybody else I feel like has more of a defining
characteristic
thing. Yeah, Happy should be a little bit more happy.
Well, if we're being honest, most of them look a little happy.
Yeah, they're all happy right
except
now.
Grumpy. He's not
she's
smiling.
She's singing the song about
Which song
how
does she sing?
women don't need to stay in the kitchen and they don't do the chores.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, I would love if they had a teachable moment and try to do like 7 brides for 7 brothers kind of thing with these 7 dwarfs. Wouldn't that be so much fun if she had to educate these boys?
Oh, on what it really means to be a man?
Yeah. What it means to be a little man.
No.
What a woman is. What is a woman?
No, that the song could be like, it's okay to be a little man. It's okay to be a little man. And it's hinting at all of the young boys that men are just little
tiny men.
Little
okay.
crouton boys.
And that's preferred, in fact. Right?
They like them better that way.
They like men little. So yeah, I think that's going to be a fun movie to talk about when it comes out in I don't know 8 years or so. So yeah,
that's Snow White. When I made this podcast, I threw that one in, and I was like, we'll kind of skim that one. But then I went back and looked for more photos and stuff, and I was like, they just dropped it and said,
just one.
That's all you get.
That's it.
We don't get anything else.
Nothing else. They don't want to give us anything else. What's the point of giving us anything else when it's that far away from release?
Yeah.
And also
2025.
I'm pretty sure. Let me look it up real quick, since I don't want to be spewing nonsense. Release date for Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Rachel Zegler, I guess. Will that come up? March 2025.
Dang.
Postponed because of the strikes. It was going to be March of 2024. Now it's March of 2025.
Dang.
Well, Rachel Zegler was like really supporting those strikes. She was out there every day with holding up that sign and
her dwarf tucked under her arm.
I think they prefer little people, not dwarf.
No, when we're talking about Snow White, it's dwarves.
It's dwarves.
Are you telling me this is like what your little people looks like?
I think I would rather have little people here.
You'd rather have another.
I'd rather have real world. Yes.
I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they go real hard and take time with the animation, I'm curious to see how this lands. I like little gnome-looking dwarfs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. I like the weird proportions. Maybe it gives us something we've never seen before. Try something new, right? As much as we were disappointed with The Lion King, I respect Jon Favreau for trying something new with that movie. You know what I'm saying? And making stuff that was like looked impossibly real. You know what I'm saying? And none of it was. So let's try something new. You have nothing else, Disney. You can't write worth crap. So you choose terrible, you cast terrible people for your movie. So what do you have left? You got money to give.
I don't know that was necessarily their fault. Maybe was a sleeper agent.
No, you can see it coming.
Out hard.
You can see it coming. No, they casted wrong when they didn't cast a white girl.
Dang.
You just
clip him.
It's in the name.
That's getting put on Twitter. Dang.
I don't give a crap, dude. It's you. I really did not make a stink at all. Wyatt did about recasting the Little Mermaid. I really don't give a crap that much.
Okay, but she lives under the water.
Snow White's in the freaking name. It's Babylon Bee did a hilarious article we talked about where they said, Netflix recasts the White Witch as a black woman. That's almost as funny as this. And this is real. That was a joke.
You could say that Snow White is her name. That is her name. They call her Snow White. It doesn't necessarily have to mean the color of her skin.
Yes, it does.
Which I think is
very clear.
Which I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but
it's very clear that her skin is as white as snow or something. As white as snow. Rachel ain't snowy.
What I think they're probably going to go for is that Snow is her name and White is her last name, like her surname. Snow White, right?
That's their only playing card here.
Yeah,
because the original story was, her name is probably Snow, and they call it as they see it back then. Snow.
Well, they just said Snow. She was pale and beautiful, so they called her Snow White. Pale as snow.
Snow White, and yeah. So look, this is the wrong time to race swap. Out of all the times you can, this is not the right one.
Right.
I think it would be. I think probably the best time to race swap is. Whenever they do a live action for what was the one with jazz and it was down in New Orleans,
Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog. When they do a live action for that, I think the better fit for that is to make her white, and that would be a better race swap.
Dang, yeah. You guys with the hot takes tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if you're gonna really get the New Orleans soul. Yeah, I don't think that belongs to a black woman
down there than black people.
And we're talking about someone who gets turned into a frog and interacts with alligators who just want to play jazz. Yeah, that should come out of a white woman. What are we talking about here? Give it to Taylor Swift.
Ooh, that would be
Taylor Swift.
She's diverse in her skills and accents, I'm sure.
Well,
and then just make it country.
Let's go ahead and thank our patron Karina. Thank you, Karina, for subscribing to the Patreon. We just uploaded Secondhand Lions.
You guys did it?
Did we, Josh? Did we upload that? Secondhand Lions?
Oh, it'll be uploaded, yes, by the time
cool.
this comes out.
I didn't want to... Yeah, I didn't want to, promise something that wasn't there. So yes, Secondhand Lions
Did you guys
is
have
on
fun with
there.
that?
Of course, we had fun. It's always
It was fun. Yeah. Well, you got Robert
Hold on.
Duvall.
How many times did you guys do a Michael Caine impression?
None, actually.
I really had to actually stop myself because he's not. Michael Caine's not doing Michael Caine. Michael Caine is doing a Southern accent.
He is.
That's why you should try to interpret.
So can you do the Michael Caine with the Southern accent?
It's the question. If you hear it and then you can go to it, you should try. You should try. I would. That's one of the main reasons I can't believe you didn't deliver on that. One of the main reasons I would listen to this.
I just let the line when he said, "I must meet this man."
Well, we kind of missed it because we were talking.
We did. We were talking about something else, and the moment where he's
and
like, she mouths it, and he's like, "I must meet this man."
I must meet this man.
We definitely. I will say we definitely like. Every 5 minutes, this is the perfect movie. We
tried to avoid it. We tried to avoid just being like, don't you love this scene?
So good.
Yeah.
But it is.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to see that kind of content, go over to the Patreon, select the tier that best suits your needs, and we thank you so much.
Yes. So wonderful. So wonderful and so beautiful. Now, what was it in the pre-show? Oh, that might be coming up next. Is what you kicked off in the pre-show coming up next?
I don't think so.
We talk about strikes. What are we talking about next?
I think I wanted to touch on the strike really quick.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I had an article. Where is the article?
Yeah, I got it.
No. I like to pull it up on my screen as well. Sorry. That way I kind of know where I'm going because there was something specific.
Okay, so the article headline is Studios reportedly willing to push actor strike negotiations to 2024 if no deal is made soon. I heard this.
Yeah.
And I think the deadline is like December something or November something. Let's see.
It's wild. They want to push it back like another 2 months.
Weren't we about to wrap this up and then the leaders of the SAG-AFTRA said no.
We wrapped up. So we wrapped up the writer's strike.
Mm-hmm.
That's over.
Everyone thought this was going to be over soon.
Then this looked like it was coming to an end. But let's see. This said
they're back at it.
It said it mentions that the studios are going out of their way to push back the negotiations, and there was a specific spot in this article.
Are reportedly poised to push actors' strike negotiations with SAG to 2024 if no deal is made this week. Oh boy! Yeah. So by the time this comes out, the strike is either done. Or we are waiting until 2024.
And it says later in the article, there's no official word. We're still waiting on the results of the negotiations. Won't impact production on projects the WGA is working on. So I think that's the writers.
That's the writers, right?
Yeah. So the negotiations that they're doing with the actors aren't going to impact production projects for the writers. So, I mean, great. That's awesome for the writers. But if everything's being pushed back, what's the point in writing everything?
Pre-production, man. You got to think of it in pre-production, production, post-production. Writers was the problem with the majority of projects. The writers affected pre-production for the most part, with the exception of, like the live shows, like, Jimmy Kimmel and all that.
And are those coming back?
I think they're back.
Are they isn't Jimmy Kimmel technically an actor?
No, because he's doing it as himself.
He's not part of SAG-AFTRA?
I do think he does.
If he's part of SAG-AFTRA, he's on strike.
He's under that. I'm pretty sure he is under that.
No, he's back. He literally did an interview with Bert Kreischer and was it Jeremy Renner or somebody recently, like last week.
Oh,
like
wow.
He's there. These late night shows like Jimmy Kimmel. Is it Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah. Or Fallon.
Or Fallon. They're both the same.
Well, I don't know about Fallon, but I know I saw
they're
one
not the
dude.
same guy, but they're both hosting a late night show. So.
Right.
Just saying, I know someone's back. I don't know if they're all back, but someone's back. Maybe it's possible that obviously they can't have actors talk about movies on their shows, but they can have, professionals or well-known celebrities talk about things that aren't acting, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I saw someone's back and
maybe if they aren't a part of SAG-AFTRA, then that's like the smartest business decision that the late night hosts have made.
There's also the exceptions.
Don't be a part of that. Yeah.
you can go through this whole appeal process where you can get the exception. That's what The Chosen did, right?
Yeah.
So there are possibly late night shows that are like, oh, we're the exception to this. I know. Who was it? I think it was George Clooney and a couple other actors. Were they trying to pay off or trying to pay out of the their
SAG-AFTRA
on their
contract
in the union? So because they want to get back to work. These actors, and it's not, they're not the ones that are really affected by this anyway. So
I mean, but I was talking about this with a friend of ours, John, because he's part of a union for he's a welder, right? Wyatt, we were talking about this a couple weeks back when
I believe
Sam
so,
got married.
or sheet metal or something.
Yeah, he does sheet metal. He has to be part of a union for that, and he was saying that you can't get a job unless you're part of the union. So they almost bully you to join in the union because they know you won't be able to get a job if you don't. But then when you do get part of the union, they're the ones who kind of set the ground rules of like what's the acceptable pay, what's the acceptable rules and all that stuff. And so it is kind of ironic when like someone like George Clooney wants to get out of it. They can't because the union is so big that the union's almost going to stop them from being able to do that.
And I think unions for a lot of companies, especially blue collar labor jobs, are positive. They often protect the people that are part of the union. They make sure that they get their pay. They make sure that they get their health care, and it's positive. But I think it's different with actors and writers is you should be where it's tough maybe to go from one union, the welders union, to a different union working on something else. Writers and actors should be able to move freely, even though the union is technically making sure that they are getting treated right, which I mean,
that's a huge debate.
They're not right now.
Well, that's a big debate because a lot of people would disagree with you when they say that unions are good, because unions are more times bad than good for the employee, in situations like this.
Yeah.
They literally, everyone's hands are tied until a deal is struck, but they have zero control over,
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you also have to think about this. Unions have messed up the market for, of capitalism, essentially, because the jobs that are bad, the jobs that are going to screw you over, that unions protect you from, you know what I mean? If you just let them be there, especially today with millennials and Gen Zers, we just won't work at those companies and they will not have any workers. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
That's not true.
I think the topic requires
you need
serious
competition.
debate. But
it
I
does.
I don't think unions are entirely bad.
No. I don't think so
There's
either.
definitely positives and negatives.
I think
to
it's
being
more
independent.
negatives.
I mean, well,
for certain companies. So
for
John
certain
Mark,
company, yeah.
John Mark is part of a union, and because
Look, he's a
if
part of a union.
if he derails a train and it's not his
they will
fault,
protect him,
they'll
and
protect him.
and for pay and stuff, they can make demands about they're like, hey, pay us more, and because they're a very important job,
Yeah.
and it's needed, then they will usually get what they want.
For the really
And that's good.
necessary jobs, I think unions are more necessary for workers, but for the for luxury jobs, for things like this, I think they kind of mess up the system because they're working on under the same rules of as if it were um a job that's 100% necessary. What were they calling it during COVID?
Essential or
Essential or
unessential?
non-essential. These are non-essential jobs. These are
Where were all the
non-essential
unions
workers.
during COVID?
Oh, there weren't, because all of these
they protect?
non-essentials in Hollywood were working.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How did unions protect the workers during COVID? People who didn't, earn any money when they needed to get back to work. Where were the unions for those, employee rights, those worker rights that they are supposed to help you with? No, everyone was at home collecting dues for something that wasn't helping them,
So this has been going on for, what is it, 150
over 100 days,
150 or 160 days now.
I think,
and it's
just
looking like it is going to be going on till next year.
Well,
it's unfortunate.
I got nothing for you. Something that me and Wyatt were pointing out the other day is the iPhone 15 is coming out, and I was talking to Wyatt. I was like, why are all the trailers for the new iPhone so bad? Like they're not creative at all. They just seem like they just got thrown together. Like they're terrible. And Wyatt was like, maybe they did all these during, the strikes, and they had to just create something without any writers or actors. And I was like, oh, maybe that's true. I'd never even thought about that. But when
you say bad, what's bad about them? Like, what's bad about these commercials?
I don't even know.
They're not bad. They're just not creative.
No, yeah, they're not creative. They're very they're trying to be goofy to make like a good trailer.
Goofy and quick.
Yeah, and it's just short, and it's just kind of odd. You just have to watch some of the stuff for the iPhone things they're promoting, and it's not great. I don't know if they just didn't have talented people making it, or Apple just doesn't have good people on their creative team. I don't know.
Well, Apple's 100% business focused. So I would say they probably do struggle with creative teams. They usually hire out their creatives, I'm assuming. And they're probably all up in Hollywood when it comes to their creatives as well. So, I haven't seen any of these, but speaking of commercials, though, we are ramping up, I think, for Super Bowl commercials. I heard that there's production where all the girls from, what is it, Mean Girls, the movie, are coming back together for a Super Bowl.
I did see something
commercial
with Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, and the three we wear pink on Wednesdays girls.
Yeah, it is a little early for that to start thinking about Super Bowl, but if they're doing a big thing like that, then yes, they will have to kind of start now.
Yeah, things are probably ramping up. People are filming, and I mean, I assume if you're actually, I don't know, no actors,
actors,
but
maybe
it will be next year. Maybe by then,
maybe the Super Bowl commercials will be interesting this year because people are gonna have to get creative.
Maybe on the Mean Girls stuff, I think that kind of sparked because last year they did a Breaking Bad one, a Doritos Breaking Bad with the Paul guy, and I don't even know the other guy's name.
Jesse.
Well, Jesse is his next actor's name.
Yeah,
something Paul. I don't
Jesse
know.
and Heisenberg. Walter White, Bryan
they did a
Cranston.
Doritos commercial with them, and that kind of was pretty popular. So I think they're trying to recreate these like iconic movies or TV shows and making like the Doritos commercial or something out of it. And I don't know.
I mean, it's fun. I'm actually really interested. I don't know how long it takes to produce a Super Bowl commercial.
Takes a lot of money.
It takes a lot of money, but if I'm sure a lot of these companies have been planning this for a while, and not planning on having a writer strike and an actor strike in the middle of the year. So it's like, well, we had Ryan Gosling, but now we don't.
All right, this is what I'm curious with. I know a little while ago, Mr. Beast, was it Mr. Beast who did a Super Bowl commercial for subscribe to PewDiePie or something?
I don't know that he did.
He tried and he couldn't get one on the air. So what he did was he just held up a pretty big banner at the Super Bowl that ended up getting on air because it was big enough to it was big enough to like they showed him on screen.
So what I want to see is Mr. Beast, because he's so analytical, he's so, trying new things. What's getting people's attention? You know what I mean? He's so much in this world. I want to see him get a Super Bowl commercial for Feastables, and he produced it all in house, right? No external production outside of his regular crew. So his entire team makes this commercial. What would it be like? Would it be like freaking, and they have to do this in, I don't know, 40 seconds, how long a commercial is?
They definitely could do that, but he's so big now. He's getting way more than Super Bowl numbers on his YouTube channel. So if he promotes his Feastables,
but
on
you
his
do
YouTube
it for
channel, he's getting more than Super Bowl.
You do it for the attention and the memes and the
it's the internet talking points after the fact.
It's not so much it's not so much it's the thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like the people necessarily watching are the ones you're trying to get. It's the memers and the internet after, I guess, is what you're going for.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised to see something from him.
Do you think
it would be nothing to make a commercial and throw it in?
Because with Feastables, he's really laying in heavy in his videos towards Hershey's, right? I mean, he's having people saying like, "Why would you ever eat a Hershey's again?" And they're like, "I won't." You know what I'm saying? So
that's that old school. That's that old school Pepsi versus Coke. Kind of.
Jimmy's starting to beef.
Bounty versus the other guys.
Feastables, and it wasn't bad at all. Like I genuinely would be like, "Oh, this is good," but also. I like me some Hershey's sometimes.
There's nothing wrong with a Hershey's chocolate.
Nobody's going to be making a s'more with a Feastables bar. Everybody's going for the Hershey classic.
See, that's what I would be. That's what I would be doing as Mr. Beast. I'd be demonstrating. I'd
rebranding
be
the chocolate
all
dishes.
Of here's all the things you do with Hershey's that you could be doing with a Feastables bar.
Yeah.
And then you have people do blindfolds, and they be like, "Which one's better?
One's better?
Tell us which one's your take a bite and tell us which one's better while you jump on this trampoline. Whoever gets the highest while blindfolded gets $1 million." You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
See, that would be my commercial. I'd be like, you could try the Feastables on all these different things, or you could try blind taste tests, or you could try competitions, and then I'd end the commercial with just like, but really you just need to try it.
Right. And share one with your friends.
Share one,
and then
with
show
your
the little show the little share.
Just try one for yourself.
He picks it off and hands it to his transgender buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Hershey's.
Just Joe taking shots today.
Hershey's on the back of like their chocolate chip bags. They've got the chocolate chip cookie recipe. Grandma's chocolate chip cookie recipe, and maybe Mr. Beast has got to be like, well, this is, the new chocolate chip cookie recipe or the better one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can get an old lady. That's what we need to do. He needs to rebrand the old obscure faces, right? Because we got rid of a few of them. Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima, We got rid of those two faces.
Okay.
Now we haven't got rid of everybody. I mean, Kentucky Fried Chicken is still hard and present.
He's still kicking. The Quaker Oats man is still
Quaker
kicking.
Oats.
The whites are still kicking.
And the thing is, the whites understand the game plan here. They understand the marketing tools of the old faces, right?
Ronald McDonald. Well,
and Popeyes gets a lot of flack, but she's trying. The Popeyes lady is trying to be the next Colonel Sanders.
The spokesperson has always kind of been like the Land O'Lakes Indian lady is gone. It's weird that there was always this kind of spokesperson. And now we just we just brand the letters, I guess.
We just little chipmunk or something to do your advertisements. The honey is the bear. The bear has got the honey for some reason. I don't know why bears do honey, but
bro,
so you gotta promote your bar with something.
You guys remember how hard Chick-fil-A went with the cows in the early 2000s?
Yeah, I remember.
From like 2005 to 2015.
Honestly, I think their chicken tasted better back then because they went so hard.
They went hard. They were going hard into the cow calendars. The cow calendars were awesome.
Was a thing.
What about the cows that walk around the restaurant? The cow outfits.
The cow, dude. In Atlanta, the cows hanging from the billboards and stuff.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Misspelling words left and right.
Here.
Left and right. I mean, I kind of miss the cows.
Honestly, they're still around. They just seriously pulled back
chicken.
Their budget.
Eat more chicken. I wanted to eat more chicken back then.
But there was definitely
I was eating more chicken.
There was definitely a beef versus poultry war back then, and the cows were winning 100%.
No, the real person that was ruining it was the pigs because
the pigs were just laying low.
Everyone's like, eat more chicken, eat more beef,
eat more
and
chicken.
The pigs are like, fucking. they're hiding from the Mexicans with the carnita asada or whatever. But that was like their one. That was like
Joseph,
their one.
A pig, and he's just like, I don't know, just hanging around.
Like, no one's talking about us. Hey, no one's talking about us.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, everyone's eating bacon in their house.
I love me some bacon.
Let's go to the next bit. I'm curious what we have next, if that's all right.
I think we're gonna talk a little bit about
talking about taking shots.
Yeah. So I don't know how much you guys know about this.
Just what people's been talking about. I haven't seen it yet.
South Park went hard this last.
How hard did they go?
They went hard.
Oh, how hard did they go?
They went. I mean, so
as hard as it gets.
This article, I personally, as it goes down, it's like, it's, I don't know, it's weird. They're like they didn't, they comment on Gina Carano a lot, and it's like weird because they don't want to commit to anything because it's the Hollywood Reporter. But it kind of explains what happens in the episode. Who it takes, who they crack shots at.
A lot of Kathleen Kennedy.
It's a lot of Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, the people who are writing hate mail get a little bit. And he, Cartman even says like, it's lazy to just complain about woke stuff too.
I think Comedy Central owns South Park.
Okay.
So yeah, there was a little bit of that. There was some, some shade thrown at, what's his name? Kevin Feige, a little bit, not enough, a little bit thrown at Bob Iger, not enough, most of it thrown at Kathleen Kennedy.
Which will take it.
I mean, it was funny. They're like, he was like, I had a dream that, Kathleen Kennedy was replacing all my friends with diverse women of color and making them gay. and then it's Cartman as Kathleen Kennedy. He's like, I don't want to replace him with a person of color, make him gay and lame. Make it gay and lame. replace it with a woman of color. Make it gay and lame. That was kind of like the thing.
And I think all of the characters, so like the normal characters, become
the one in the red is
women.
Cartman, who's a little fat white dude, and they're almost like they're not recognizable.
Do you
on
think
purpose.
I know their animations, they can do it quick. Do you think they intentionally made that character look a lot like Sabine?
Absolutely, yeah, sure, 100%.
Because that looks just like Sabine to me.
I mean, that's what like Asian women look like in modern movies. They always have kind of the
purple
crop,
hair.
with the purple hair. It's pretty, it's common. It's a stereotype.
Right.
But no, it's so
okay, her crossing her arms in and of itself is
that's like what looks like joke. Sabine to you, yeah.
Because the crossing arms joke in Ahsoka.
Man, I almost wish I had seen the entire episode, but they have like a Kathleen Kennedy finds like a pander stone, the pander stone MacGuffin that it's like we can make all movies exactly the same and appeal to everybody. And all you have to do is touch the pander stone, it does it for you, you know. And man, they laid in. They laid it on.
I like how South Park, they're truly a voice for everybody, and anybody who's trying not to take even their own opinions too seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just laugh and be as ridiculous as possible. And I love how they always are like, this is a really funny concept. Let's take it and push it down the road to where people expect us to take it. Then let's take it a little further. You know what I mean? To where no one's expecting or even asking. And it becomes so implausible and so ridiculous that you almost are like, this is a lot.
But I mean, even talking about like the straight white male hate mail, you know, the hate mail that Kathleen Kennedy's been getting. I'm sure that like a lot of it is genuine. But there's so much of the hate, the quote unquote hate, right? Throughout the years, that at some point you've got to look at it. I think the reason that this episode happened, and it happened too late, honestly, and it should have come out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But it's like, is South Park finally noticing this? Are we loud enough yet? Is people saying that this is boring and not fun? Are there enough people now? Has the general population who doesn't like watch movies the way we watch movies, they watch movies casually, have enough of them started complaining that we can finally make this?
No, because it's still not quite there yet.
I think enough. It's maybe enough are kind of on the radar of it.
Look, once everybody's doing it, like Family Guy, South Park, obviously. I mean, everybody has to do it, and not just in like the places we expect it to be. It has to be everywhere. Like when Hollywood is able to start making fun of itself. South Park is barely Hollywood. You know what I mean? When Hollywood could start making fun of itself, then we've made it, because that means they're trying to actually make something that people enjoy and they can make money from. Right now, they're still afraid. They're still like, no, we want to keep pushing these literally pandering ideas. And maybe South Park will open their eyes to it. But no, we're still not far enough ahead, because South Park's always the first early to the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if they're just now getting to it, means we still got a long ways to go. We still do.
Yeah, that's probably it. I wouldn't
and honestly
disagree with that.
With all these movies being delayed to 2025, I'll expect to start seeing some serious movement as far as like in the right direction for movies in 2026. Like all of the movies they had lined up for 2024, not all of them, but the majority of them that are now being pushed to 2025, I think it delays everything a year, including progress in the right direction for storytelling here, you know?
Maybe. That it's crazy to think 2026. That feels really far to me, but maybe it's not that far when it comes to like movie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I definitely think there's going to be some things that are coming out now that's going to suffer up till then of like not good writing. So for a couple of years, we're going to see some bad stuff.
Oh yeah, well everything's being pushed to 2025, 2026. What are we going to get in 2024?
Yeah. Well, also now that we have an episode like this of South Park, and it's not just the online voices saying it, like the nerdrotic little quippy phrases that he comes up with. Mm-hmm. Now that we have South Park doing it, how long are we going to have to watch people like Disney create crap with this mentality and just get even more and more scrutiny? Because now we can be like, now there's going to be a whole new wave of people that enjoy South Park that don't necessarily keep up with online. They're now now we have a word for it. It's the Pandaverse, you know, just another Pandaverse, just another movie in the Pandaverse. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, we now have a word for it. How long are we going to, the general public, as you said, going to observe this phenomenon continue to happen for the next year or 2 years before we actually see corrections? It's going to be super cringy for the people making the pandering movies.
Yeah, is the mascot for the Pandaverse, is it a panda?
I definitely don't think so.
No? Oh, okay.
It's this image right here.
It's the South Park boys replaced with diverse women.
Diverse women of color and are all gay.
And maybe the plumper size.
Yeah, on the thicker side.
The thicker side.
Cartman should have been the bigger. Asian girl.
So yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's in the right direction. But yeah, we're still at the beginning of this, and I think it's gonna be more voices. You know, there's a part of me that's saying like, with this happening, I think the the interest around calling out this stuff in Hollywood in the online YouTube world is gonna grow even more. Probably. You know, the longer this stuff happens, the more the audiences are growing that calls the stuff out for people that call
and out, I think one of the points in the episode was that it's like, oh, all we get is these trolls online that don't, you know, are they're all they're doing is complaining. But, you know, most of the people on YouTube or on the other ones are, you know, the people that are complaining are creating things. They are involved in projects that are
like Eric July.
Eric July is creating his own thing. A lot of the guys that join into those conversations are busy building their own businesses or production companies, or, you know, writing books or making comics. They're into creating new things. So it's not just complaining for complaining's sake. I'm sure there's plenty of people sitting behind a computer doing that.
And you also have to think, I mean, they're trying to service their customer base and build an audience. They're not just doing this to hate on Disney because they have it out for Disney. They're literally creating a business around your screw ups.
Yeah.
When they could be,
that's comedy though.
Well, the originally you made a business out of people's successes. How many YouTube channels are there about how good Lord of the Rings is, or how awesome the Star Wars movies are?
There's the new one about what we just discovered as a group about Narnia, you know, Into the Wardrobe. He hasn't been doing it very long. Maybe
fandom YouTube videos used to be about how much people enjoyed these worlds that were so creatively built. And now a lot of the fandom YouTube channels are complaining. It's because these people were so passionate.
And it's also because there's not a lot of good stuff to be a fan of these days.
Yeah.
So you gotta do something. Now it's no longer we're now a group of fans. It's now we're on the battlefield fighting for quality, you know?
Yeah.
We're no longer, we have to take off our fan hat and put on our battle armor. That's kind of what we have to do in some ways, because we can't be a fan. The only thing to be a fan of right now is all old legacy stuff.
Yeah. Seriously.
There's nothing new. Okay. We'll see what happens with season 2. The creator was okay. We'll see what happens with season 2 with Arcane. Maybe Arcane is worth being a fan of, and I'm a fan of season 1. But past that, there's nothing else new I'm really looking forward to. Dune. I'm a fan of Dune, and we are fanning around that.
Dune is going to be good.
But even stuff like, you know, Game of Thrones, which is newer, is, you know, it takes a long time to make something like that, and to make something of good quality, and to keep you know, that kind of panderverse stuff out of that universe, out of the Game of Thrones world.
I mean, there's 2 worlds that are really on fire right now that we don't even touch. I mean, Star Trek and Wheel of Time, you know?
Yeah.
We never even touch either of those things on our channel, but that is a huge...
We dabble in the Star Trek, you know? We go where no man dares to go.
I'm just saying Star Trek has been really heavily screwed with, and the fans are not happy at all.
Yeah.
And that is a huge...
We don't do the TV show, no.
No, it's not even just TV show. It's Star Trek in general. And now this revamping of Wheel of Time, or I guess the first on-screen adaptation.
Live action adaptation. You know what's funny to me about the live action Wheel of Time show is that, you know, back in the day with something like Dune, or you would make it into a live action and people would like it, you know, but everybody would recognize this is crap.
Right.
This is really not what's in the book at all. And then usually they come back later, years later, and remake it, and it's like, okay, now we're following the book. It's like they're doing that with this TV show. It's the first iteration of what a live action of this can look like.
Right.
It's that terrible like B movie almost
right,
that you're getting.
Right. Yeah, and I think we and everyone has to kind of fight where their interests lie, you know. And so, like, when I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to say, probably negative, potentially positive. We'll wait and see on Narnia. I think Narnia matters a lot to us. It won't matter to every commentist on YouTube for entertainment, but it'll matter a lot to certain channels, and I think it'll matter to us. So yeah, you got to fight where you know, and you do have to keep fighting. And
well, to kind of move on and wrap this up. One universe I think that hasn't been too tainted with the pandering is the Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah.
What?
So there is
such a cool photo.
This isn't this is a screenshot. Yeah, that's John Mark. This is a screenshot I took from the YouTube video because every other photo of this I wasn't clear, even on like news websites.
Right.
Wait, there's clips of this already?
This is a teaser for the official teaser or the trailer that is coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Which is literally,
we gotta do a reaction.
So this literally is just the hawk flies across and you can see like the decrepit city behind. This is
Caesar's boy?
Caesar's son. What's his name?
Kovu? No.
Kovu. That's freaking Lion King.
Right. That is Lion King 2.
Cornelius.
Actually.
This is Cornelius.
Yes. Yeah.
Cornelius.
So it's literally just the hawk flies up and lands on Cornelius.
Very good.
That's it. It's like 2 seconds.
That's
and it's
still
awesome.
And I am so excited.
I'm here for that Hawk landing.
I've always been. Why is something like we're such nerds? Why is that cool to us? That's
because
so
it's
awesome, but yet
dude.
it's such.
So the article talks about it brings everybody up to date on what it is that this is Cornelius, is Caesar's son. Caesar's dead. He leaves behind kind of, the things that he said, the things that the tribe remembers and everything. I'm assuming are hopefully going to become almost like a Bible for them. It's like, this is this is Caesar. He essentially had a hand in creating them, bringing thought to the apes. And he taught them everything. So I'm hoping
this?
I think so. Yeah. This is it. That's it.
Okay, that's still sick. I'm still.
And then it sort of says what it's going to be about.
Yeah.
So it's not
a ton of information, but
it says that the teachings of Caesar will play an important role in the movie. Some of the apes having twisted Caesar's words in order to enslave others. So I mentioned this. I mentioned when we were talking about this last time, or maybe the time before, that what are they gonna do in this movie? Are they going to put the apes through similar things that humans have gone through, and they're gonna have to figure out, what is it? They've already kind of processed killing each other, murdering each other. What does enslavement look like? What does lying to each other and deceiving it's the political stuff.
You got to evolve through.
Thinking of sapience.
It's very interesting. Also, the twisting of words. It's almost it's almost like that. At least there's examples of this all through history, but I'm reminded in Christianity of like the Crusades that happened that were very violent. At the beginning of, the Protestant church, or when the Protestant church was becoming more of like a heavy hand of the government as opposed to, a body of believers. And it's a similar kind of thing where you use religion and you twist words, or you just make up stuff, or twist things and add to it that.
Well, I imagine that it's going to be things that Caesar has said that the other apes remember and have written down. So I would imagine they have eyewitness accounts of, like, for example, the moment, Caesar says that apes don't kill apes.
Right.
That was one of his rules. And then at the end of the second movie, he pushes Koba off the building and says, "You're not an ape." Based on his actions, Caesar ruled and determined that Koba was not an ape. And so I could see them taking that. I could see them taking that moment and being like, clearly Caesar had precedent for ruling that another ape was lesser.
Right.
Based on their actions.
Dang, that's going to be super fascinating. And the enslavement part is very cool. I'm curious, how do I guess if we're about to get a trailer, meaning it's on the rise, like we're about to get this movie.
Rise of the trailer of the apes.
No pun intended, I guess. But how do they know these details is my question. Like these
I think
writers.
I think there was an interview, maybe.
Yeah. There's gotta be
I'm sure there was. I'm sure that the director, what was his name? Will? Was it Will?
Let
me see. Matt.
Wes.
No, Wes.
Directed
Wes
by
Ball.
Wes Ball.
Wes Ball. Which Wes Ball? What did Wes Ball do? I've seen movies with Wes Ball, haven't I?
Wait, hold on.
I believe we've talked about him before.
Yeah, he sounds familiar.
I didn't know Matt Reeves was the director
of
the
Maze Runner's The Scorch Trials.
Oh. Ugh.
Yuck. This looks fun. We got to keep our eyes open for that trailer, and I wasn't expecting this so soon.
I wasn't either. And then I was like, I went on YouTube to look. I saw this picture, and then I went on YouTube to look for a trailer, and I couldn't find anything, so I had to type it in.
It's like, what is this?
And yeah, we got this nice little falconry image. So,
unfortunately, I know he was more of an actor with this series, but I am gonna miss Andy Serkis.
Me too.
There's a lot of people that were a part of the trilogy that's not going to be a part of this one, and I personally like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is one of the most awesome movies in my mind.
It's visually absolutely incredible,
and it's just there's so much to it that's just so well done with Dawn specifically. So I'm hoping Kingdom is able to grab some of that magic. We don't go too far, like sometimes you get deep into a franchise and you go too far, like we saw with Godzilla versus Kong. You just a bunch of time and you go too far. Hopefully we don't get something like that with this, but my hopes are.
Well, they need to keep the human element, not the humans necessarily, but a human element in this. Of just because they're apes doesn't mean that they're going to do better than we do. The reason that we watch is because we connect with them on a fundamental level of they're making the same mistakes. Absolutely. They're doing the same things. That's going to be, and you can't escape evil, right?
Right.
Sapience with that kind of free will, you can't escape. You could do so much right and so much good, but you can't escape the people that will use that for evil. So
it's kind of like capitalism.
Yeah.
You can do so much good with capitalism, but you can't escape the people who are going to use it to their advantage.
Yeah.
And hurt people in the process. Man.
Yeah.
Teaching all kinds of lessons with these movies, I feel like.
But yeah, that was my podcast. That was what I had written down.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I put this in. I didn't know how much we were going to be talking about Cornelius himself, but we know that Blue Eyes was killed in the last movie. Cornelius is Caesar's only remaining child.
Got a lot to live up to. A lot to live up to, Cornelius. We'll see how you do. Excited about it. Thank you for such a wonderful podcast.
We thank everybody for joining in, for tuning in, for watching, being a part of it, because you guys are a part of this. And Absolutely. I don't say that sarcastic. It may come off as sarcastic because I'm a sarcastic person, but we really do appreciate you coming in. And you are a part of this.
It really sucks when your natural voice is sarcastic.
You're like, we love every one of you. Yeah.
Have either of you guys been holding your butt cheeks together because you have a poop?
No, I would be lying if I said I didn't have to go to the bathroom.
So dude, I've been holding for the past 15 minutes. I've been squeezing. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's end this so that you guys can do your thing.
I mean, I'm already.
Have a good night, everybody.
I had one scary cough. I had one cough that's really scared me.
I had one scary cough.